What's going on, everybody? Man Cave here. I'm going to be doing a video that I had promised you guys a long time ago, many times, and just forgotten about it, on how I blew up my first Wraith. But first, I was complaining to myself earlier about how I was still didn't have my Robinson Racing gears. Personal stupidity on that one. I'd forgotten that a couple days prior they came in the mail and I was busy doing other things and I had them set to the side, so that was my own stupidity on that one. But I do now have all the gears needed. I've got my 80 tooth Wraith Gen 3 slipper unit, which is a 48 pitch 80 tooth. We have our Wraith Hardened steel diff locker gear, and of course, to finish out the transmission, the Wraith Hardened steel idler gear, which is actually the same thing as the AX10 idler gear, so it doesn't matter. And the outdrive is the same gear as well, with the exception of, I believe, you need the little centerpiece that's inside of it because the Wraith transmission is dig capable, but you have to buy the dig unit separately. Also, from RPP, from Gearhead RC, I've got a 13 LED light bar, which is freaking super bright. And RC Boys off eBay, I bought a Futaba Y connector. I'm going to be trying something with that. So I'm going to have to be disassembling the entire Wraith transmission, take the level 3 racing off to put it back on. Since we know that the EXO got canceled, no big deal on that one. I do have this Certix Stock Club Race ESC and 17.5 turn race motor that you can run censored or sensorless. Since I'm not going to be doing the EXO anytime soon due to the fact that I'm going to wait, number one, for more aftermarket, and basically I don't have enough room to be running something that, like, I sold my slashes off, so what's the point in getting something faster? But I had Copperhead out today, and with the 60 turn Venom motor, looks very similar to this 55 turn. Well, actually it's identical looking to it, except it's just lower turn, or higher turn. These motors are freaking phenomenal. But with the 60 turn and the Wraith, it kind of loses its oomph a little too fast, so I'm going to have to bring the turns down. Or, I haven't checked into it. I can go, I'm going to try first with the dual 55 turn Novak motors, which you can see sitting back here. There's one of them here and the other one's connected right here to my M2 dual dig ESC. This is why I have the Futaba pin. The Futaba pin, I'm going to try and cheat the system so I can keep my 4-wheel steering and run dual motors. Don't know how that's going to work. Probably not going to work, but it's worth a shot. But I do owe you guys a story on how I blew up the Wraith. When I had first gotten the kit, I had a buddy of mine over here who let me use one of his max amps batteries. It was a 5600 milliamp, I believe it was a 150 amp burst. I can't remember because this was a while ago. Either way, we hooked it up, and well, he hooked it up because I don't mess with LiPo batteries. He hooked it up, and to make a long story short, he forgot to wire in a BEC. So we're just bashing it around. He had his Venom competition creeper, which he had a LiPo in, another max amps battery in, and of course the system that we had thrown in mine. Now, my ESC was rated for a 2 to 3 cell LiPo, and we hooked everything up. We're out on the trails, but without the BEC in there, and I guess he didn't pull out the programming card when he hooked it up. He didn't set it up for LiPos, so when the voltage drained on it, the battery, on my first Wraith, the battery was under the hood. It was relocated up front instead of in the rear like it sits in Copperhead and the Riddler. So the battery ended up expanding and smoking, and before I could get over there to touch it, it exploded. So my Wraith pretty much, about the only salvageable parts that was left on it after we put out the fire and found what pieces were left of it. I think all I was left with was a complete rear axle, half of the exo cage, the gears for my servo, it blew that apart. My shocks that were on it were all scorched and melted. So there you go, guys. That's what happened to the very first Wraith. It blew up because of a LiPo battery. I wouldn't say it was because of the battery. I would say it was because of the person who installed it in there improperly installing the LiPo battery. It wasn't Max Amp's fault. It was moron who did it. Needless to say, since then I've gotten a lot wiser, and I do not let anybody else touch my do not touch my RCs unless they know what they're doing. So, with that being said, there you guys have the backstory on how I blew up the first Wraith. Now, switching gears back over to the dual motor Wraith setup, I have my dual Novaks here, which one is wired normally and one is wired with reverse polarity so that it turns normal. What I might do is I might go on and look up a pair of Venom 35 turns, possibly 35 turn modifieds, if not 45 turn modifieds, because I want that perfect balance of speed and torque. These I know are great crawler motors, but I do believe that by putting in 255 turns, you basically turn it into a 110 turn, or just a 55 turn that's got a tremendous amount of torque to it. So the Terraclaw I haven't really had much luck with in the past, but I'm giving it another shot to see how it does. I love Novak products just as much as I love any other RC product, but the last truck I put a Terraclaw in, the motor lasted about a week. Now, most of my rigs have had, well, they've all had axial motors to start off with, which are great because those motors are almost indestructible. But this Venom Firebolt right here, I've had for, God, 2.5 years now, and it still turns just as free as ever. Just spray it with some electronics cleaner and it's good to go pretty much. Of course, I've taken a brush and cleaned everything off after probably every dozen runs or so, because I run through mud, water, everything. But I did break this one in water, so this one's been seen a lot of underwater use, and surprisingly, it has not affected the armatures or the windings or anything. I mean, all Venom motors have that sound to them, but I like that sound better than I like that weird pulsating sound from the motor. But I'm still waiting as far as the Venom goes, the competition creeper kit. I think I told you guys this. When I ordered the kit, I got it for $99 off of eBay, and when I started building it, I got to started building the transmission, got the transmission gears and everything done, and I was missing my transmission cover. Not a big deal. I thought it was something that I had misplaced, so I looked all over, double-checked all the parts bags, and it wasn't in there, so I called Venom, and just like any other big company, all the associates were busy, so I left a message, and they called back the very same day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get to the phone in time, and it was 5 minutes before they closed, so I called them the next day, told them what happened, told them what part I was missing. Well, they already knew what part I was missing because I left that in the voicemail, but they got that straightened out. It should be here tomorrow, and it was honestly one of the most pleasant customer service, what's the word for it? It was one of the most positive customer support experiences that I've ever had. It was smooth, no problems, no questions asked whatsoever, no bullshit. Just like RPP, their customer service is absolutely amazing too. RC Planet is awesome. A-Main, I love their customer service too. Tower Hobbies, their customer service can be finicky at times, but usually it gets resolved in a timely manner, which is an A+ in my book. I'm a huge stickler on customer service. And basically just how the company treats its customers is the biggest thing I love. Obviously, everybody wants whatever situation they're in, they want it to be resolved as fast as possible. I've never had a problem with any of that with RPP, A-Main, RC Planet, RC 4-wheel driving. God, they're freaking awesome with their customer service. And as a little spoiler, I'm going to be building, thanks to God, bro, you're gonna kick my ass for saying this, but Mad Dog Madigan hounded my ass pretty hardcore and told me I needed to build a super scale rig. So I bought an RC 4-wheel drive chassis, T-Rex 60 axles, the shackle mount kit for it. I bought a killer transfer case, a RC 4-wheel drive planetary unit, which you guys know what that is, with the shaft that goes from your planetary down to the transfer case. What else did I buy? I bought the steering link kit for the T-Rex 60 axle. I bought from RC 4-wheel drive, I bought scale 1.9 metal wheels that will rust over time, which is perfect because it'll give it that scale look. And I bought a set of very scale looking tires. Nothing crazy like my 1.9 Interco boggers or my 1.9 mudslingers or anything like that. I'm actually going to be building a scale as close to 1/1 as possible. I'm going to try and base it off of the Tamiya F350 body if I can, because that's cheaper than the Toyota Tundra, because you have to buy the cab, the bed, plastic parts for the bed, then your chrome accessories for the truck, versus the Ford where you just buy the chrome parts bag and the body, which is, even though it's two pieces, it's on one tree. I thought about doing a Hilux, but then I remembered I have my stock Tamiya clod body. So I'm thinking about doing it in a clodbuster body. And that's going to be a build that's going to take quite some time because I'm not familiar with the killer transfer case and the RC 4-wheel drive planetary system, but I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory once I get it in front of me and look at it. But this is going to be the most intricate build that you've ever seen me done. Up to this point, I think Copperhead and the Copperhead by far steals the show with the most complex rig I've built, due to the 4-wheel steering, and now going to be having dual motor plus 4-wheel steering, hopefully. I'm sorry the video's dragged on as long as it has. I promise you I will be having running videos of Copperhead. I was going to film today, but when I realized that I screwed up and put too high of a turn motor in it, I really didn't want to drag it down. The G-Made crawler, on the other hand, that thing was kicking ass out on the trail with those portal axles. I mean, it was climbing and crawling over everything. Did a couple backflips, but always landed on its wheels. But I'm pretty much ready to start tearing down this Wraith transmission, getting it rebuilt, and hopefully next time you see Copperhead, it'll have the dual motors in it, and it'll have, well, of course it'll have all this in it, and I'll have these lights wired to something. I might be saving it for my scale truck. I don't know yet, because I do know I have to get a BEC for this, because it specifically says cannot be connected straight to a LiPo or nickel metal hydride battery pack. It's designed to run on 4.5 to 6 volts. Oh, wait, no. You can connect to an available auxiliary port on your receiver. So that'll work just fine as long as the receiver's got a battery powered to it. As long as it doesn't exceed 6 volts. So I'll probably be getting a hump pack for that. A 6 volt hump pack. Run it directly into the receiver for the battery. That way, if it's designed to run on 4.5 to 6 volts, I won't need the BEC, since I'll just be running a 6 volt pack. But enough wasting your guys' time. Once again, this has been a Man Cave Media Films production. I highly encourage you guys to go over to rcsparks.com. Check out the forums. If you're not already a member, register. It's free. And there's a lot of really cool people there. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to start tearing this sucker apart, and hopefully by tonight I'll have it done. Maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but still gets done. Alright, guys. Peace out.